State officials say they are now investigating a Ventura County cannabis farm raided last week over illegal child labor practices. Investigators say they visited Glass House Farms in May and found no violations, but later that month, the department received a complaint and opened the investigation. The company said it does not and has never employed minors. However, during last week's immigration raid, officers say they found at least 10 undocumented minors. Farm worker advocates say recent raids just reinforce their calls for better paths to citizenship.
We are not criminals. We are the backbone of our food system.
Well, recently, a federal judge halted indiscriminate ICE raids across Southern California, including at farms. And to break down the situation surrounding these raids, we're joined by Patricia Ortiz, directing attorney at California Rural Legal Assistance. Thank you for joining us this morning, Patricia.
Thank you for having me.
So now that we are learning more about the investigation into the raids at the cannabis farm here, what's your take on farms hiring undocumented workers?
I think, unfortunately, it's a necessity, right? We have long depended on undocumented labor here in California, and we need to make sure that despite people being undocumented, their rights are protected.
You know, we often see that these undocumented workers, because they're undocumented, are scared to report violations within the work environment. What can they do? You know, even if you do say, hey, your rights are protected, yet you're undocumented in the current state that we're living in right now, where we do have these raids, what can they do?
There are still state agencies where you can bring complaints. Right now, unfortunately, the federal government is not as reliable, but within the state, there are still protections. I would still recommend moving forward with bringing state complaints if there are labor violations that can be reported. Unfortunately, we can't guarantee with the federal government that they will actually protect labor rights. So we are kind of in a bit of a complex situation right now.
So in the case, by the way, that farm down in Glass House Farms denies that they've hired anyone that's under the age of 21 to work in a cannabis farm. But where does an undocumented worker start when wanting to report these types of incidents?
There's, agencies like ours, California Rural Legal Assistance. There's other agencies in the Central Valley, United Farm Workers, that can assist in providing information on bringing complaints. There's also the Labor Commissioner and other state agencies where they can go to bring these complaints.
Is there anything to hold these companies accountable for wrongdoing when it's found to have done so?
There's laws that can be enforced, and we have been successful in bringing claims for labor rights violations.
What are you hearing right now in your organization as these raids are happening? Are you finding that people are clamping down on reporting anything because of the current state of what they're living in right now?
Oh, absolutely. I think right now we're seeing a big drop in reporting, not just with undocumented immigrants, but with anyone. I think there's this fear of just putting their name forth is going to in some way cause retaliation. These raids are really doing the opposite of providing incentive to report. They're really chilling immigrants and workers' abilities to report these violations.
Patricia, you just said there are organizations like yours or others that you can report to. What does your organization do, and how do you work with these undocumented immigrants who are here working?
Right. So our organization works with primarily civil legal assistance. We provide assistance to people who have been victims or survivors of labor rights violations. We assist in other civil issues such as housing, education, income maintenance. So someone could come to our organization. We'll try to see if they fit within our criteria for representation. If not, we can help at least guide them to where they need to go for bringing forth these claims.
All right, Patricia Ortiz, the directing attorney at the California Rural Legal Assistance. Thank you so much for joining us this morning and providing your insight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.